Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of Newsround for Anfield Index. It is Thursday, the 20th of August. There is only, 13 days is it now, till the transfer window shuts? And whilst we're on Thursday, dear Lord, we got to talk about everything that went on Wednesday evening. As the song lyrics go, oh, what a night, in all honesty, because there were awards, there were statements, there were counter statements. And even yesterday, there were little bits of other things, including deal sheets that dropped at the same time as well. Plenty to talk about, ladies and gents. I'm your host, Dave Davis, coming to you from a gloomy Edinburgh, but it is lively in the world of football, and hopefully it's nicer wherever you are too. So let's get right into it. And you probably know exactly where I'm going to start. A statement in black and white from Alexander Isak. Now, he wasn't at the PFA Awards last night, was he? Which I think many expected to be the case. However, what people didn't expect is what landed on social media during those awards and may just have caught everyone, including Liverpool and Newcastle officials, should we say, off guard. So what did Alexander Isak say in his statement? He said, "Proud to be recognised by my fellow professionals, a place in the PFA team of the season. First and foremost, I want to thank my teammates and everyone at Newcastle to support me along the way." Here we go for the juicy stuff. "I'm not at the ceremony tonight. With everything going on, it didn't feel right to be there. I've kept quiet for a long time while others have spoken. That silence has allowed people to push their own version of events, even though they know it doesn't reflect what was really said and agreed behind closed doors. The reality is the promises were made and the club has known my position for a long time. To now act as if these issues are only emerging is misleading. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now, and why change is in the best interest of everyone, not just myself." Alexander Isak, who launched a grenade into football last night, didn't he, with that one? And it's interesting, taking a few bits from this statement. There's been those suggestions, which Newcastle, it's important to say, have not refuted or denied at any time before last night, to say Isak has already told them last season and, reiterate this summer that it will be his last at St James's Park. He wanted to move on. And that's what, let's be clear, that's what he's alluding to in this. Promises were made and club has known my position for a long time. Suggestions that the promises were around a contract, obviously with Paul Mitchell disappearing, that's not happened. But it's weird. Is this a transfer request? I don't know. Officially, a transfer request, we're told, has to be submitted, officially telling the club. But maybe transfer requests are now by X rather than the old fax machine or written. I don't know. But there's absolutely, it's crucial to say, zero wiggle room in this statement. As he says, that's where things are for me right now and why change is in the best interest of everyone, not just myself. First time we've got Alexander Isak on record. Now, I've also heard the thing, his agent. This is quite clear, his agent is not controlling him. Alexander Isak, is a free-thinking guy and making it clear what his thoughts are on the process. So that comes out publicly last night, which of course means whoever, and there's a big question of whoever is in charge at Newcastle, has to respond, don't they? And they do. They do it with a statement where they say, "We are disappointed to have been alerted to a social media post by Alexander Isak this evening. We are clear in response that Alex remains under contract and no commitment has ever been made by a club official that Alex can leave Newcastle United this summer. We'll come back to that. We want to keep our best players, but we also understand players have their own wishes and we listen to their views. As explained to Alex and his reps, we must always take into consideration the best interests of Newcastle United, the team and our supporters in all decisions. It had been clear the conditions of a sale this summer have not transpired. We do not foresee those conditions being met. I was surprised by that. I've got to be honest. Not the statement coming out, but the lines used. That is not a Alexander Isak is not for sale under any circumstances statement. Let's just be clear on a few things with this. That statement, no commitment has been made by a club official that Alex can leave Newcastle United this summer. What essentially they're saying is, as it's really unfolding, despite what people have tried to deny, is that quite clearly Isak said he wanted to leave, and they're responding publicly by saying, well, we never told you could. We never said, yes, you could. But it's also kind of puts to bed any suggestion that, we never, he clearly has. That's also them just kind of acknowledging that at the same time. That's the first time they've retorted to anything around this situation. This bit as well. Remember how we've been told by various journalists that Newcastle are not for sale under any circumstance. It won't be countenanced whatsoever. Well, if that's the case, why are they saying we have been clear that the conditions of a sale this summer have not transpired? We do not foresee those conditions being met. First of all, people, it says there are conditions, just to be clear, but they've not been met yet. But that it extinguishes any he's not for sale whatsoever talk. That is just been set fire to completely. And it is definitively not he's not for sale. Now, I'm going to be honest, because I've seen different reactions online. People are going to fly to whichever camp they want, regardless of what anyone says. I say now, I've got my opinion of it, which I'm sharing, but there'll be someone who go, that's it, it's done. Got to look at alternatives straight away. Newcastle are going to dig in there entrenched. There'll be those that will say, this is moving toward the extreme. This is just now being played out. This is towards the end game. The position of all parties is untenable. It's got to be a sale. There is genuinely going to be a split either way on this now. Now, if you want to see a he's not for sale statement, remember this. 11th of August 2017, FSG statement on Felipe Coutinho. We wish to clarify, we wish to offer clarity as regards our position on a possible transfer of Felipe Coutinho. It's funny because we know what happened, really. The club's definitive stance is that no offers for Felipe will be considered and he will remain a member of Liverpool Football Club when the summer window closes. Now, that is a stronger statement than that from Newcastle. They're just saying the conditions haven't been met yet and we don't foresee it. But things happen in football that you don't foresee. Like your star striker has made it clear he wants to go away, throwing out a statement like that last night. It's not a strong statement from Newcastle. Now, there's different reporting. And if you look, this is what Craig Hope, one of the Geordie Patch journalists, put out. The message is, and he tweeted this, what time? Early hours of this morning, 12:28 a.m. The message is that Newcastle United stance has hardened tonight. Isak's statement has not been well received, especially after a summer in which they've clearly explored the conditions of a sale and considered his wishes. Another twist, perhaps. So that's the allurement, and people will take that as, that's it, it's even worse, it's made it worse. It hasn't. There's conditions. Will those conditions be met? Now, I've seen in other articles suggestion it's around 130 million, but obviously with each passing day, Visser, although it's important to say, Keith Downey, one of the Sky Sports reporters who covers Newcastle in the North East, did say that his expectation or his understanding is that Visser will not play for Brentford again. Newcastle will make an offer in 24 to 48 hours. So naturally, with this, if that Visser thing happens, you do just wonder, are we getting the acceleration across the board for everything? But at the same time, Liverpool might well be looking at pressing with this, contingencies. It's drama, isn't it? Drama across the board. And it's important to say, there's a few articles also from Geordie journalists doing the round, that there's a split camp now at Newcastle that someone him gone, someone is still backing him. So it's all just a bit of flavour in there. I'm going to be honest, my opinion directly. I still think Alexander Isak ends up a Liverpool player. I still think you'll see acceleration on this after the Newcastle-Liverpool game. That's what I believe. At the same time, I have zero doubt, whatever is being played out in the media, the powers that be at Liverpool have and are just covering themselves with alternatives because Arne Slot said we need attackers in. So, yeah, exciting. We will see what happens. You know what else was exciting last night? This man on screen. For all the talk over Alexander Isak, there is one king. And he was crowned again last night as the record breaker Mo Salah, as it says, became a record-breaking third PFA Player of the Year for Mo. 2018, 2022, 2025. Icon. Anything you can throw. A demigod, as I say. Unreal. And to be honest, at the awards, it wasn't actually even close. Let's not be, twisted or, reinvent history. It wasn't close. It was an absolute landslide country mile. To be fair, if you voted anything but Mo 1, Virgil 2, even as a professional footballer, you don't really know football. But there you go, an accolade there from his peers. Unbelievable. And he looked handsome, didn't he? With his photos, sharp as anything. Now, he did speak, actually. He did an interview, and I don't know if anyone clocked this. Fan channels were there, weren't they? Quite a few of the different fan channels, doing, which I don't mind, actually, doing interviews with players. Now, Mo stopped to do one with, I think it's an Arsenal fan. I don't know if it is some Arsenal fan, anyway. And it was actually mentioning them, and did actually say, interestingly, I don't know if this will go or circulate, he thinks Arsenal are favourites, saying, well, they're favourites. That team has been together for 5 years, intimating about all the changes at Liverpool, and how everything's got to work. Call it tongue-in-cheek, call it whatever, but when Mo Salah speaks, he knows it will go viral. He knows it will get picked up on. So, all the pressure in the world landed on Arsenal. Interesting. And there they are. Look at the handsome boys themselves. 5 of them, maybe 6 if you include Isak, in the PFA Team of the Year. And Morgan Rogers was the Young Player of the Year, so shout out to him for that. I just struggle with the PFA, the nominations, the 6 that were in there. And, I get some people, like I do actually get Bruno being there, and those bits. I mean, Cole Palmer, though, half a season. Just saying. What I find absolutely startling, and maybe I do, maybe I don't, it maybe just shows the lack of knowledge, I think, in the game overall. Van Dijk was number 2 last year. How he's not in the nomination for the top 6 is just an absolute joke. He's in the Team of the Year, so that means the highest is fellow pros put him as number 7, which is a joke, isn't it? Virgil van Dijk was the second best player last year. There's no other way of putting it. But a great night for the boys all around. More silverware, eh? In terms of departures, we started to incomings. There was a little bit yesterday, wasn't there? Sasha Tavlieri tweeted that Arne Slot now strongly considering Federico Chiesa should stay in Liverpool Football Club. The player's happy and wants to be part of the project this season. Obviously, Fabrizio Romano has been tweeting that for a few days now. By extension, that news signifies that Malik Fofana's deal to Anfield becomes unlikely. Does feel that. I mean, it's not impossible. I think everyone's still wanting Isak and another, but this might just be a bit of a death knell for Malik Fofana, who I like a lot because of the way he plays, the fact he turned down Everton as well, but it may just be unlikely for this move now. In terms of exits, Harvey Elliott, there was a few tweeting this, that Red Bull Leipzig has agreed personal terms with Harvey Elliott. The Bundesliga club continues negotiation with Liverpool. And it's also important to say that even though we released this on the 6th of August, that Harvey Elliott and Red Bull Leipzig are in advanced talks over personal terms and Leipzig want it. Florian Plettenberg retweeted this last night as well, which does make you wonder. And with Spurs doing their moves for Eze and others being linked, it does feel that this will happen. Although it is important to say there is now a question mark against it, because as David Ornstein and others tweeted yesterday, Red Bull Leipzig have made a move for Christian Nkunku, haven't they, on a permanent deal to bring him back there from Chelsea, which people go, well, what does that mean for Harvey? And that is true. It's a very fair question. It may just mean that Nkunku is the Sesko replacement and Elliott will still be the Xavi Simons replacement when a transfer to Chelsea takes place. So it may actually have started up the merry-go-round, mightn't it? Nkunku from Chelsea to Leipzig to replace Sesko. Chelsea have got some money then. Chelsea used that money to buy Xavi Simons. Xavi Simons goes to Chelsea, frees up a spot. Liverpool sell Harvey Elliott to Leipzig. That may just be the merry-go-round. But we'll have to see, won't we? Feels like that one will go late in the window. And I haven't got it on screen as well, but speaking of outgoings, Janis, and I'm not going to try and pronounce it, his surname, the famous Greek journalist that you'll know who broke the Tsimikas news, did tweet about Kostas yesterday saying that he's got offers, but if he doesn't get it, there may even be the option of going back to Olympiacos on loan. So that is a possibility as well to keep an eye out for. And then it's crazy. This is the last one we're doing, but David Ornstein's deal sheet drops on a Tuesday, doesn't it, as well? So he had various bits. I'm not going to read you it all, like you might well have seen it, but he did have a little bit at the top around Marc Guehi here. So as it says, Liverpool identified Marc Guehi as a market opportunity. Initial dialogue took place with Palace, although the situation has not advanced significantly. The ball is in Palace's court. And he goes on a bit, but this is the absolute key part. If he leaves Palace now, Guehi only has eyes for Liverpool, who believe they already possess 4 elite central defenders, so are not expected to seek an alternative if they fail to land the 25-year-old. So if they don't get Guehi, it's Leone in, and that's it. The books are closed for centre-halves. And also, this it strengthens our negotiating position, doesn't it? That Guehi is essentially saying to Palace, Liverpool or a free. You know, either way. But I still think a compromise gets reached. We had that Miguel Delaney one the other day, didn't we? That Liverpool have offered 35, they want 45. Like, just put your hand, come on. I still think 40 million is a decent deal. You know, I've said that repeatedly. I can't change that at all. But we will see what happens with that one. I mean, you absolutely know after a crazy night of statements, things are going to start flying today, aren't they? What will develop? Will there be anything on Vissa? Who knows? It could even be quiet for all I'm saying now. We will have to see. As I said at the start of the show, oh, what a night. Alexander Isak statements, Newcastle statements, not quite an FSG statement. Mo Salah making statements, a third-time record PFA winner. The boys making statements in them suits, looking handsome. David Ornstein and others giving us statements on incomings and outgoings. Oh, what a night. But on Thursday, the 20th of August, that was another news round for Anfield Index.